Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Manitou Springs City Council for June the 4th, 2024. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Public for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Would the city clerk please call the roll?
City Council members Judith Chandler,
Present.
John Shada, Julie Wolf,
Here.
Natalie Johnson,
Here.
Michelle Weatherholt,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nancy Fortune,
Present.
and Mayor John Graham.
Present. Thank you. Okay. Next item would be approval of the agenda. Council members, you've had an opportunity to review the agenda and the council packet. I would accept a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I'll
We have-
second.
Motion is second. Let's vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, next item is public comment on non-agenda items. This is the portion of the meeting where anyone in the public is welcome to speak to a non-agenda item. And I notice we have a number of people who want to do so tonight. I think we have several topics. So basically, when it's your turn, you come up to the microphone. You'll notice there's a button in the middle of the microphone. Press that. You'll see the light come on green. It's best to be about 3 inches away from the microphone. This is being recorded and it's being broadcast. In addition to that, you have 3 minutes to speak. We do not respond to comments that are given during public comment time. Some of you filled out a green form. We ran out of those. The purpose of the green form is so that we have your contact information so that if we do have a response, we know how to get a hold of you. But you can certainly contact the city clerk's office and give her your contact information if you feel you need a response. With that, I'll start with the first one I received. That would be Simon Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs, and I believe your subject is traffic safety on Crystal Park Road.
Yes, that's correct. My accent is quite funny. I've been in lived in Manitou since 2018, originally from England on Sandra Lane. And I do have some concerns about traffic safety still on Crystal Park Road. Firstly, I'd like to thank the city for realigning the road a few months ago, giving pedestrians and cyclists a bit more space on the side. But I don't think enough has been done. And I think it's only a matter of time before there's a bad accident. As you know, there's, of course, deer and turkeys, and not to mention the people, pedestrians, cyclists, and it's a very tight road. Now, a few months ago, I noticed there was some I don't know what you call them, the sticks were put up on the corner near the cantina, and within a couple of days, they'd been knocked over. I think they were not very permanent ones, but I would suggest that perhaps something more permanent be put on that corner, maybe hard, I call them bollards, or even bit unsightly, a concrete kind of thing. Now, I don't know what we can do about greater traffic safety. I don't see police there very much checking for people speeding. And of course, we've got the new signs. This is a neighborhood, not a racetrack. I like them, and the 20-mile-an-hour limit, I think, is very sensible. But I would like to see more enforcement. I don't know how that can be done. I think my craziest idea, which might not work at all, coming from Britain, is a speed camera. And I'm not sure if that's something that is even allowed in this place. I know police can do it, but automated speed cameras, they have red light cameras coming down the hill. And particular concern is, it's not just residents. Some residents know about the dangers of that road, but there's a lot of tourists coming up. They might not coming up to the cantina. That's a particular hotspot with people crossing the road. So I'm just asking, of course, the other thing is speed humps. Somewhere on a corner or somewhere down the road to slow traffic down. So I'm just requesting that something be done a little bit stricter about that road, because we certainly need it. I think it's only a matter of time before something happens. So that's my pitch.
Great. Thank you, Simon.
Thank
And
you.
finished up in under 2.5 minutes, so congratulations.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. Okay. And I'm taking these in the order I received them. And I know since we ran out there, I know there are other people who want to, I've been told that other people want to talk, so we'll just add and go to a show of hands after that. Janice Carley, if you'd come forward. And I believe you're also, you're concerned about road safety.
I also live on Crystal Park Road. I live
If we could
four
have.
houses down from the cantina and right before the
Can we have
blind curve.
your name and the actual address?
It's 194 Crystal Park Road, and my name is Janice Carty with a T.
Okay.
Anyway, I live four houses down from the cantina right before the blind curve. It's very dangerous to live there. The road has become very deteriorated. There's a lot of potholes now on Crystal Park Road. And now that it's tourist season with all the traffic with the cantina and all the U-turns happening right at the curve there, it's gotten more and more dangerous. I applaud the city for making it 20 miles an hour. I think that's helped a lot. I think that we need to get new sharrows on the road there. They've kind of just faded away, and I think that might help. We have a lot of problems on our bikes coming around the curves where people come around us, cross over the double yellow line and come around us as we're trying to navigate the turns. I've seen the police out there, I think more of a presence, and I'm happy about that. And like the gentleman said before, I'm not sure exactly what can be done. Maybe just better signage. We need more signs telling people to stay 3 feet away from pedestrians and cyclists. And I know that the Cheyenne Village is on hold now, but that side of the road there on that east is so eroded. It makes it really hard for people to park and then people to walk around it. So I don't know who could possibly, it could be years before they can take care of that part. I don't know if the city can do anything about that with the asphalt. And then my only other concern is being a newer cyclist, I tend to take Lover's Lane when I go into town, and that is getting really bad with potholes also. So if the city can eventually try to get some asphalt in some of those places, it would make it a lot easier for us. And one other thing, I want to applaud the city because the plowing this winter was fantastic, and the chipper days, it's been a really helpful to the community, and I thank you for that. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next, Kimberly Della Harp. Kimberly, I guess your topic is questions about Manitou survey. So.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name's Kimberly Delaharp. I live at 385 Pilot Knob Avenue. So this afternoon,
Kimberly, can you maybe pull the microphone up a
There you
little
go.
close to you? Okay, thank you.
So this afternoon, I received a text message that said that it was a 2-minute survey about Manitou Springs issues. And I just wanted to know whether or not that was an official survey by the Manitou Springs government and whether or not you would see the responses from that survey. Okay, because if I may, how many of you received that survey too? So I just don't know how they got our information, which is slightly concerning.
Okay. Again,
Yeah,
we don't really respond back during public comment, but
okay,
I think we're as bewildered as you are.
okay.
So,
So
Okay.
thank you for answering that question.
okay, all right. We can understand your concerns and we're concerned too, but afraid we don't have an answer. Denise, do you have?
Would you be okay if I responded to that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we just found out about that a little bit before 5 o'clock, I believe. We got a call asking about it. So we don't know either, but we're trying to research who sent it. I have not seen the survey, so I did not receive it. And none of our staff have received it that I have found out. So
Yeah.
if you can forward me the survey, that
Okay,
would be
that was gonna be my
wonderful.
follow-up
Thank
question
you.
of whether or not I could forward you that survey so it can help you look into that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next, Ralph Rutten. And Ralph, I understand your concern is also the survey.
Hi, Ralph Broughton, 114 Palisade Circle. I was coming here for another purpose that is on the agenda, but when I got the survey this afternoon, and first of all, it did say it's a 2-minute survey. The first question then was, are you going to vote in this election, with choices of whether you were going to vote early or later or what, or not at all? Then it went into another question of how would you vote in the U.S. Congress race for this district, which that was the first real red flag for me. It did say it was, Manitou Springs. It made it sound like it was from somebody connected to city government in some way. It was, I can tell you from having in my previous life in the media, been around and part of and paid attention to surveys like this. This is professionally done. Somebody put some money into this survey and, obviously tied to some ballot issues, but probably with a few ulterior motives when you start asking how are you going to vote in the congressional race as well. I didn't get to the bottom of it, but I'm happy to forward any information that I have as well, because I've got the entire thing on my phone. But I just wanted to say that I really think I won't say the name of a company or whatever, but it looked like the work of some professional company that does surveys for a living, not just somebody who did a Survey Monkey thing online. So. Okay.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Dave Strawn. And Mr. Strawn, I understand your subject is the URA, so have a seat.
Good evening. Dave Strawn, 209 Rockledge Court. I'm going to talk about the URA. The economic potential of a major part of the city is being wasted. And I'm speaking primarily of the Urban Renewal District. It currently consists of undeveloped or underdeveloped property. It's only an avenue of parking lots and motels on the way to downtown. A downtown that exists to serve visitors, not residents. If you don't want to get something to eat or drink,
Mr. Strawn,
there's
can you be a
very
little,
little reason
Mr.
to
Strawn,
go
can you be a little closer to the mic? Can you
Sure.
pull the mic up to you a little closer?
Okay. The essential goods and services needed by Manitou's citizens are simply not available here. Hence, all our money goes down the road to Colorado Springs. The revenue from sales tax and property tax from the businesses meeting our needs is lost to the city. This loss is going to become more acute when the marijuana business finally runs its course. Who knows how long that will be, but another 10 years would be surprising. There is a solution that can solve many of these issues, as well as enhancing the plans, goals, and objectives of Manitou Springs. The solution is to develop a commercial center of gravity with businesses that cater to the needs of our citizens, such as groceries, pharmacy, urgent care, light bulbs, a haircut, who knows what else we have to go to Colorado Springs to get. There is an opportunity to move toward our objective of creating more affordable housing, which in turn would feed the new businesses. This would be a business center for the citizens of Manitou Springs. Downtown will still thrive by offering tourists what they come here for. Additionally, our objectives of sustainability and economic equity can be enhanced by making important goods and services available to those without access to cars or who prefer alternative forms of transportation. The big question is, how do we get there? It can't be done without the full power and weight of Manitou city government. The URA's resources are simply not enough. This project has to become a major priority for Manitou Springs. Admittedly, our demographic is probably lacking in some areas, especially for retail developers. However, aggressive marketing and expanding the geographic boundaries beyond Manitou's 5,000 population could make an
Mr.
attractive
Strawn, you're at 3 minutes.
population.
Can you sum up, sir?
Hmm?
You're at 3 minutes. Can you sum up, please?
This project's critical to Manitou's future. I urge the mayor and city council to put all the resources they can muster toward making a project like this a reality.
Good. Thank you, sir. Next, I believe it's Sue Rapp, 116 Becker's Lane. And also, I think the subject public safety.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Sue Rapp, and I would like to speak to you today about public safety in Manitou Springs.
And if you'd include your address, please.
Oh, yes, 116 Beckers Lane.
Thank you.
Manitou is very beautiful, a unique town with amenities that are lacking in other areas, and a major reason why I moved away from Colorado Springs. The town has kept the quaint, small town feel with easy access to a grocery store, restaurants, individual shops, hiking and biking trails, but with access to go further afield, and it is rare to find all these attributes rolled into one place. Unfortunately, many of these activities have come under threat from motor vehicles. I would like to give you an example of just one of my experiences I had last year and wrote to council about. In the summer, I travel and live in an Airstream, and at the time was camped at Crystal Kangaroo Campground on Crystal Park Road, which has a beautiful half-mile stretch of road winding up the mountain. I was on my regular early morning walk with my dog returning home. It was hot, so I was on the left-hand side of the road where there are shady trees and left of the white line, which can barely be seen now. A truck came hurtling down the road. I leapt almost into the bushes, signaled with my hand to slow down. The driver slammed on the brakes, jumped out, started walking at me and yelling, please excuse the language here, "Get over, you stupid effing bitch," pointing across the street. I carry pepper spray on my dog's leash for protection against animals, but I certainly was going to use it on him had he come any closer. I repeated he needed to slow down. He jumped back in the truck and sped off down the hill. Obviously, he had not had his coffee that morning. Many hikers, bikers, wildlife, and cars travel this road where there is one stop sign and at least 6 blind bends on a mile stretch. It is a residential area, not, as the posters say, a racetrack. Lastly, it is a mystery to me that when we are children, we are encouraged to ride our bikes, hike, have fun, enjoy the outside, but the minute we become adults doing the same activities, we suddenly become moving targets for impatient drivers. Over the years, I've been yelled at, spat on, had items thrown at me, all for enjoying the great outdoors. Many years ago, I was driven off the road into a ditch riding my bike and sustained an injury that involved reconstructing my shoulder, all because someone didn't want to slow down. Do we have to wait until someone is seriously injured or killed on our streets before action is taken? Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, and with that, those are the request slips that I received. So now we'll entertain anyone else who want. I guess what I'll ask is who else would like to speak for the non-agenda? 1, 2, 3. We got about 5 hands. Okay. All right. So You know, Mr. Bremner, why don't we go ahead and start with you? And what I will ask is if some of you have similar comments, one of the things you can do is you can, in the interest of brevity, you could say, I am aligned with so-and-so, I fully support what so-and-so said, or I completely oppose it, and then tell us something new and different, so that we can get as much information as possible. Mr. Bremner?
Steve Bremner, 626 Ruxton Avenue. I too received the survey and unfortunately I filled it out. It's a push type of survey which tries to persuade and tries to get your information as well, such as who you're going to vote for, who you voted for in 2020 for president, other information like that. It tries to persuade you that a road along the Midland Railroad grade towards the COG would be a good thing. I can tell you that probably 99% of the people who live on Ruxton Avenue or Pilot Knob or Illinois or Mesa Avenue or any of that area would be opposed to a road, another road going through that neighborhood. We don't need more cars on Ruxton Avenue. We need less cars on Ruxton Avenue. And that's why we need parking outside of Ruxton Avenue and shuttles, such as electric bus or shuttles like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, who else? Sir?
Hey everyone, my name is John Bruner. I live at 24 Minnehaha. I also got the survey and wanted to quickly comment on it. You guys, if you haven't seen the contents of it, I'm sure you surely will here soon. I concur with what he said about, it definitely having a certain angle, and I don't think it's hard to identify or at least guesstimate who or what direction those types of angles would have come from. So I wanted to just ask that, since it's pretty inappropriate that I feel like private citizens are attempting to be coerced into giving their private information away, such as voting information under the guise of the city of Manitou Springs, but also that they are also being swayed, particularly in the way of certain developments happening or certain future events happening to the city. I just wanted to make sure that everybody on the city council understands that people feel very violated, but also that this tends to be an invasion of privacy. And when these things do come up in the future, as I'm sure they will, otherwise there wouldn't have been a survey, that you guys take into account that these people have already acted disingenuously in the first place without revealing who they are or what their motives are.
Thank you. Show of hands again, please. In the very back there, sir, if you'd stand up. Yeah, you'll come forward.
My name is Randall Wood. I live at 307 Elkhorn Road. I just wanted to reiterate what the other folks have said about this survey and just my ask for the city as well as the council is that obviously based on this survey, there's been a major proposal towards putting a road, which is essentially across the street from me, which would affect it's essentially my backyard, the road going through there, as well as the drainage down that hill and all of that. That if there is a proposal that has been brought forth to the city because this survey is stating that there's a proposal that land is being donated to the city and how the city should act upon that donation of land. And there's a lot of fear in there about fires as well as proposed other projects in the city. So I just wanted to reiterate that transparency from the city in terms of whether or not there are plans to do something with that land that's going to affect all of us would be transparent and that we would have a voice.
Thank you. Yeah, who must be next? Brandy?
Good evening, Brandy Williams, 1411 Chesham Circle. I just wanted to reiterate, I did not get the survey or send the survey, but I was able to talk to some people online and it sounds like they were texted the information. So that means that they have phone numbers. So just wanted to pass that along. I'm Brandy Williams. I'm a candidate for County Commissioner for District 3. I wanted to come say hi to the Manitou Springs City Council, as Manitou Springs sits wonderfully right in the middle of the district, essentially north to south. Born and raised in El Paso County. I've been here my entire life. My family and parents have been here as well. Grew up in the north end of town though, graduated from Rampart High School. Went off, got a civil engineering degree. Used that wonderfully to work with Denise and in concert with things both in Fountain, Colorado Springs and in Manitou Springs. And just wanted to say hi and introduce myself and invite yourselves and the community to a meet and greet that I'll be having at Toasted on Thursday at 6 p.m. And if you have any questions or want to learn more about me, my website is brandywilliams.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Who'd like to be next? Linda? Just Linda. Okay. Okay. Oh, Linda, just one person at a time. One
When
person,
I'll speak, she's going to be with me to help me with the information because.
one person
I
at the
got
mic,
it from her.
one person at the microphone, please. Everybody gets a chance to speak, but you speak one.
This is Linda Moreland, 37 Minnehaha, Manitou Springs, Colorado. I wouldn't be here tonight except for Isla called and told me about this. So that's why she's going to join me. So I did not receive the survey. Wonder why.
Can you get a little closer to the microphone?
I did not receive the survey. I wonder why. But several people did that I talked to. Isla and I both called several people to get them to come tonight regarding this. We're all very concerned about one more time something happening without the community having knowledge of it ahead of time. It's hard for us to trust at this point. So the survey starts out, the following is information about the Ruxton Avenue Access Road ballot initiative that you may hear or see in the news or in advertisements. So that makes it sound very official. We also know that the Ruxton Avenue Improvement Project, if it happens, when it happens, has to give us at least 6 months advance notice. That's our understanding. That may or may not be correct. At this point, none of us have very much information, and we'd like to get a lot more information. Well, I have a request. A lot of times when we have these meetings and we go and try and look them up on the city site, magically, technical difficulties keep the recording from being put out. I hope that doesn't happen tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
We did record it, several of us.
I'm Isla Manning. Push the button. Okay.
Yeah.
I live at 357 Pilot Knob Avenue.
Get about 3 inches from the microphone.
Okay. This survey, when you read it, I hope that it comes across to you as it did to me as a very fear-mongering survey. You're all in danger because of access egress for fire, danger of the pedestrians on the roadways. And the pressure from this survey, as you will see, is how wonderful this additional access road would be for all of us in the community. And in addition, the added parking lot that they are promoting to be installed at the Cog Railroad would also be so beneficial to all the citizens in the area. And I have very grave concerns because of the last council meeting where an issue of land being donated with stipulations was brought up in the agenda and then removed. Then I get this magical survey, which is referring to 15 acres of land. Now, I'm very concerned. I already live one street above a very busy road, which is Ruxton. The solution is not to build more roads, it's to control the traffic. If we cannot address the traffic issue, building another road is only going to bring more cars. So when you get this survey and you are able, if I am not technically able to track down the source of this, I'd also like to know who paid for it. And when I have those answers, I'd like them to be publicly put on your website so that we all have answers and that I don't have to spend half my day on the phone trying to get people concerned and activated so that we all understand what's going on here. Because there is no trust left here. We have meetings that are going on in council dealing with proposals for donations of land with stipulations. And then this survey comes, doesn't look good, folks. Does not look good at all. Thank you.
Thank you. We have anyone else? Show of hands in the back there. Oh, Priscilla. Priscilla, press the button in the middle there. Green light should come on and then try to.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Priscilla Stachel. I live at 321 Elkhorn Road, just beneath what I imagine is going to be this proposed road. And I agree with everything that was just said about the survey. I think it was a very bizarre survey. What difference does it make how old I am, what color I am, who I voted for in the last election? It was just a really strange survey. But that aside, I agree that escape routes are critical. We're very congested. You know, if we were to have an emergency, which we have seen in the past, coming and going is difficult. However, I would like to see great thought given to this proposed road. I think I'm pretty high up compared to almost anyone else here. And I worry about the construction of such a road. I worry about the traffic up there. I worry about water drainage being the low man in this instance. Whatever washes down on my property is my responsibility. And again, just to reiterate, traffic coming and going from both ends. I could see a lot of tourists. I can see a lot of hikers wanting to, you know, travel along that way. It's a beautiful hike, which we used to be able to do until Chris or Dave locked that up, probably for liability. Whatever you decide to do, I would implore you to have community forums. I would like to have people be able to come and see whatever drawings you come up with, whatever plan you have, and to have an open, honest conversation with our input, my input being taken seriously about, you know, what could be done to mitigate these problems. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the lady in the pink shirt.
My name is Amy Karras. I live at 330 Pilot Knob Avenue. I'm very concerned about the potential of the road on Midland. I know that they're claiming that the survey didn't come out from Manitou, but we have as residents seen surveyors up on that property many, many times. So it's obvious something is happening, and I feel like we're being left in the dark about that. And just in general, if there was a road put in up there, noise, pollution, air pollution, noise pollution would be like sitting on two highways on Pilot Knob, being on Rexton and then behind us on Midland. And then it would decrease our house values, and there would be much more congestion because where would it run from? Up Mesa possibly? And then it would not benefit us as citizens. It would obviously benefit Anschutz with the COG, and it would benefit the city of Manitou, but I don't see the quality of life benefit for us as residents. So I'm strongly against it. And I would like to know why they've been surveying so much up there. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone else? Hands up. Or this is your opportunity to talk. Okay. Do we have anyone who wants to speak to any non-agenda item? Anything else? If not, we're going to go on and move along on the meeting. Last call. All you have to do is raise your hand. If you, okay, young ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, turn on and then get about 3 inches from the mic. And
Hello.
give us your name and address.
My name is Robin Barker. I live at 398 Pilot Knob Avenue. Got the survey. But you know, that all that aside, it seems like that this is something that is definitely in the works and that we are all being kept out of it. I just find it interesting that I think we need to look at the traffic that's going up there. To add another parking lot, to add more people does not do anything for our citizens or our environment. And in other areas where there's big things like, you know, the Maroon Bells, they bust them in. You know, if you want to talk about fire and us being in danger, take the tourists out of it. We can all get out. You know, if you wanted to make a evacuation route, like where the fire department could come and open up a gate and the citizens can get out safely, great. But to, you know, feed Anschutz, the Broadmoor, you know, the Manitou incline at the cost of your citizens and our property values, it's just crazy. So whether this is coming up or not, and it's pretty clear that it is, I think you really need to think about the people who live here.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, you go ahead, Judith.
I just want to thank you all for coming and to tell you that I'm not allowed to comment during this portion of the evening, but I obtained the survey and I will be making comments tonight under council correspondence.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's. Okay, you want to speak, sir? Okay, come on forward.
My name's Brad Hallway. I live at
Can you get about 3 inches from?
My name is Brad Hallway. I live at 376 Pilot Knob. And I apologize for being late, but I've heard a lot of people throwing comments. I haven't heard anything back. Is this not the appropriate time? I mean, I don't know what's the process here. Is there a road being planned?
Sir, if I may explain. Okay,
Okay.
this is during the comment, the public comment for non-agenda items. Which we do at every regular meeting. You know, citizens have the opportunity to speak. We do not reply typically. Okay, so people come and make their comments, but you can't expect a response from us. Okay.
Okay.
And this is not on the agenda. we would need to have our attorney present, and probably this will need to be discussed in an executive session with council before any further public.
Okay, so we're not allowed to know if there's a plan for a road?
We can't, sorry,
Yeah,
we can't tell you.
That's the part that's confusing to me, is there a law prohibiting you from telling us?
Yes, basically it's the procedure. I mean, land acquisitions things would be talked about in an executive session. Okay.
And executive
That is
sessions
not
are,
pushed forward. That is not, and we can't speak to it. And our attorney's not present tonight.
okay, I guess I'm confused as to the process then, because it seems strange that an issue that several people have talked about, and it's a one-way street. We're not getting anything back. And that is a very scary proposition when government begins to not share things. That I don't know how to respond.
Nancy, can you?
I just have to tell you that I'm equally frustrated by this. And however, if it's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it because nobody's had a chance to prepare for it. So this was not on the agenda. I just got that survey today. Didn't even look at, I looked at the first question, didn't look at the rest. So it's been very educational for me. So basically, I found this to be very, very informative public discussion. And if and when it's on the agenda, I feel much more informed to discuss it, but we cannot discuss things in city council unless it is on the agenda.
Okay, and how do we get this on the agenda?
That would require further discussion from council.
Usually things don't end up on the agenda unless we have a formal proposal.
From
So
who?
Well,
I
from an applicant,
propose-
from any,
I mean, I'm trying to learn the process here. So what does it take to get it on the agenda? Can we as citizens request that it gets added to the agenda?
yeah, you can.
Okay, I think that would be a safe bet that there are several of us that would like to see it on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So
Yeah, Julie, would you like to comment?
I just wanted to comment, sir, and to everybody else who's here, is that we're not allowed to build a road without there being any kind of public comment first. And we're not allowed to, get involved with that process without having some kind of public notice. And last week, there were people here who really asked for at least 2 weeks advance notice before any such thing is ever on the agenda. And the city attorney has confirmed that we are able to do that legally, to give the public plenty of advance notice. It doesn't have to be the 24-hour notice that the law says is the minimum. So we can't make any big decisions without giving the public an opportunity to have input about it. But we're not allowed to talk about certain proposals that are made to us pertaining to land. We're not allowed to make that public unless and until we decide we want to go forward with it. So we're not allowed to say anything right now, but we're also not allowed to make any decisions without a public meeting in the future for you all to be here and give us your opinions.
okay, good. So it'll be on the agenda in 2 weeks, Ben, I guess.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Okay,
It
so
may never come up.
okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
As a Knob resident, I'm not here to beat a dead horse, but I will say. at
Okay, sir, we need your name
369
and
Pilot Knob-
we need your name and address first.
Yeah, my name's Austin Breenan at 369 Pilot Knob. I'd like to say we are seeing a lot more traffic. And as a parent, it's a fear of mine to even walk my child on Ruxton. and it is a worry. I would like to see something in the future brought up with Pilot Knob, maybe some kind of speed bumps preventative before we have to name that speed bump Alice. And maybe just some kind of input from neighbors that is acceptable. I know water drainage is an issue on Pilot Knob. It hasn't been repaved in a long time. You guys have a lot on your plate, but knowing that more is coming and more traffic's coming up there, thanks for thinking of us. Come on, speed bump. Jump. Jump.
Okay.
We gotta go. Say something pretty. Don't thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Austin, Austin, would you turn the light off there, please, on both those mics? Okay. Okay, last call. Anybody else? All right. Let's go ahead and move on then. Thank you for your comments. Next item is our consent calendar. We've got 3 items on it tonight. The first is approval of the May 21st, 2024 City Council regular meeting minutes. The second is consideration reappointing Neil Minch to the Manitou Arts, Heritage and Culture Board as a regular member. And 3, consider adopting resolution 1124, a resolution of the City of Manitou Springs, Colorado, finding that the construction of the fire training facility is substantially complete. Council, if anyone would like to take an item off and discuss it separately, we can do that. If not, I would look for a motion to approve and accept the consent calendar.
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Okay.
Second.
Approve and accept. Okay. A motion to approve and a second to, motion and second to approve and accept. Shall we vote? Let's vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Okay, great. The consent calendar is approved. Yeah, Judith, go ahead.
Thank you. I know we don't usually comment on things when the consent calendars pass, but I really want to acknowledge Neil Minch's incredible work on the match board, and I am thrilled that he has agreed to serve another term. I just wanted to say that out loud, that he's done a phenomenal job, and I respect him and admire his work and the boards as well. And I'm just so grateful that he's signed up for another round.
Great, thank you. And with that, let's move on. We have a presentation tonight. It's rodeo time. The Pikes Peak Range Riders and the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo, a presentation by Girls of the West. Ladies, if you'd like to come forward. Or how do you want to do this?
I have a 45-minute presentation, so bear with, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, we really appreciate you guys having us. My name is Greg Budwine with the Pikes Peak Range Riders. We started our ride in 1949. On June 19th, we're going to have a street breakfast that basically starts our rodeo. This will be our 76th year, and we'd really like you to invite your whole community down to enjoy some pancakes with us before the Range Riders take off for the street breakfast. You will hear tonight from our president of the rodeo, which is Chris Whitney, and then obviously you'll hear from the Girls of the West. And thanks for taking the time to hear from us, and hopefully we'll see you at the rodeo.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Thanks very much for having us this evening. I'm going to talk just a little bit about this.
So if
here.
we could get your name and title.
Yes, my apologies. I'm Chris Whitney and I'm the president of the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So we're saving the best for last while being there. The best is obviously the Girls of the West. Many of you've heard from them before, so it's great to hear from them always. I think all of you know this rodeo. This is our 83rd rodeo. We date back to 1937. Took a break during the Second World War and obviously during the pandemic. Otherwise, we put the rodeo on every single year. I think you also know the purpose of the rodeo is to promote Western heritage and Western culture on the one hand, and to support military families in the Pikes Peak region on the other. So all the proceeds, all the net proceeds of the rodeo goes to that end, to support active duty military families and quality of life initiatives for them. So it's a mission we take seriously and like doing very much. 2 years ago, we partnered with the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, the PRCA, which has its main offices in Colorado Springs. And we have grown the rodeo exponentially, which we're happy about for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's terrific for the community as a whole in El Paso County. And secondly, the better the rodeo is and the bigger the rodeo is, the more we can do for active duty military families because we'll produce more revenue and have more to share with them. So once upon a time, we used to do 5 performances over 4 days. We now do 7 performances over 5 days. We'll have about 200 men and women, cowboys and cowgirls, who will be competing for $1 million in prize money. And we'll have a like number of 4-legged contestants who are every bit as impressive as the 2-legged. They just don't share in the money. But they're as fun to watch as the cowboys and cowgirls are. Last year, we sold about 30,000 tickets. We almost sold full out for the 7 performances. Close. We hope we'll sell out this year. And there are about 600 volunteers, military and civilian, who help us put this rodeo on. Nobody gets paid to do it. This is all a community effort. It's July 9 through July 13. And I am now going to defer to the real stars of the show, Carlos Palmer and the Girls of the West, unless anybody has any questions I can answer for you.
I think we're ready for the Girls of the West.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, I'm Corliss Palmer, and I'm a 23-year volunteer for the Pikes Peak Bus Rodeo. I direct the Girls of the West and have all those years. It's a great job that I have. The Girls of the West started in 1922 with Dawn Norris as the Girl of the West back then. And the program has grown tremendously since then. The Girls of the West, and we make about 150 appearances. I schedule and escort them to all of those in a 2-month period. So we're really busy. There's a competition for the Girl of the West, and it's horsemanship, interview, speech, and appearance, and much more. That'll be on July 11th, and we'll choose next year's Girl of the West. I have some posters back here. If you could put those up for the street breakfast and the rodeo at your businesses around town, we would really appreciate that. McKenna Norton is the 2024 Girl of the West. She's a 20-year daughter of Jeff and Krista Norton. She has been involved in equestrian events most of her life, including the Hunter Jumper Association, the International Interscholastic Equestrian Association, and a member of the Pikes Peak Rangerettes. She was also the 2022 El Paso County Fair Queen. She's studying communications at the University of Wyoming and hopes to use that as a format to continue with rodeo. She spends her free time at riding horses and family and dogs. Annika Normandy is the 2024 Aide to Girl of the West. She's an 18-year-old daughter of Kristen Stites and Rich Normandy. She was a member of El Paso County Hearts and Hooves 4-H Club for 8 years and served as the El Paso County Fair Queen in 2023 and was the captain for the Pikes Peak Rangerette, She currently attends Colorado State University, also studying communications. And both of her parents are active duty. Well, her father just retired from a lifelong term in the Air Force, and her mom's still in the U.S. Navy. So please enjoy the girls. And they might take a little more than 3 minutes, and I'm sorry for that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm McKenna, the Girl of the West. And I'm Monica, Aide to Girl of the West. We serve as the proud ambassadors of the Pikes Peak Bus Rodeo, and we are so excited to let you know that pro rodeo cowboys and cowgirls from across the U.S., Canadian circuits, and champions from Mexico will all be heading to Colorado Springs, July 9th through the 13th. With over $1 million in payouts, they'll be competing to win. This is where champions and careers are made. The speed, the excitement, there's no better place to be than at the NFR Open at the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo. Over 200 contestants will bring their talents to the scenic and historic Norris Penrose Event Center to compete in bareback riding, breakaway roping, steer wrestling, team roping, saddle bronc riding, tie-down roping, barrel racing, and bull riding. The finals will be held Saturday night, July 13th, when the National Circuit Champions will be crowned.
I'd like to take a moment to let you know that the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo is a very special event to me, and I know it is for McKenna and her family too. It's important to us because of everything that it stands for. Representing our Western heritage and values, hosting one of the top professional rodeos in the country, and most of all, giving back to our local military and their families. So I'm grateful to be representing this legacy event that brings people together to celebrate all that is good about our country and the growing sport of professional rodeo, all while honoring the services and sacrifices made by our military and their families. Our local military are honored at each performance. U.S. Army, SMDC, and MDA on Tuesday evening. Fort Carson 4th Infantry Division on Wednesday evening, First Responders and 302nd Airlift Wing on Thursday evening, Guard and Reserve units and educators at the Friday matinee, Space Night on Friday night, the United States Air Force Academy at the Saturday matinee, and NORAD US Northcom on Saturday evening. The Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo has been proudly giving back to our local military and their families since 1946.
Proud indeed, Annika. I can say without a doubt that this year's rodeo is going to be incredible. Every minute of every performance. The NFR Open at the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo is held July 9th through the 13th, with evening performances Tuesday through Saturday and matinee performances on Friday and Saturday. Evening performances will begin at 7 p.m. with matinee performances starting at noon. Grounds open at 10 a.m. for matinee performances and 4 p.m. for evening performances. There's tons to do before the rodeo begins, with lots of vendors for shopping, lots of options to grab a bite to eat or something to drink, and plenty of fun to be had in the fan zone for kids and grown-ups too. If you want to skip the traffic, and who doesn't, then you can leave the driving to us and take our free luxury shuttles. Just park at the garage at Costilla and Tejon. It's free. And our shuttles will bring you and your family to the rodeo and back to your car after the rodeo, or even after some fun in the Coors Roadhouse Saloon.
Each performance starts with the Pikes Peak Range Ride Pivots and Pikes Peak Rangerette drill teams, followed by the El Paso County Sheriff's Mounted Patrol Unit. Then it's top rodeo action and then some, as well as fan favorite mutton busting. We all love to watch these fierce kiddos give it their all at hopes of winning a trophy and a medal. Plus, our specialty act this year is amazing. Jessica Blair Folks and Dusty Dixon are the best trick riders in the nation. They are thrilling to watch. Then, after the rodeo, stick around for autographs from the contestants, the Rangerettes, visiting royalty, and the Girls of the West. That's us. Then live music and dancing await at the Coors Roadhouse Saloon. I'm going to be watching for you to wave back at us from our awesome pink Ram truck from Perkins Motors. We'll be heading out all over town to promote our rodeo at businesses, military installations, and community events, and stopping by our generous sponsors who help make this event possible. And speaking of community events, I hope to see you all bright and early on June 20th at the annual Colorado Springs Western Street Breakfast and the official send-off for the Pikes Peak Range Riders annual ride. I'm counting on seeing each of you at this year's rodeo. The dates again are Tuesday, July 9th through Saturday, July 13th. Save time and get the best pricing by buying your tickets online at pikespeakerbus.org and check out our website for more information and to make your rodeo experience a great one. The NFR Open at the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo is for the true fan, the first timer, and everyone in between. It's rodeo time. The NFR Open at the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo is July 9th through the 13th at the Norris Penrose Event Center in Colorado Springs. See you there.
Thank you, ladies. Any comments from council? Okay, well, good luck with the rodeo. Thank you. Okay, our next item is another presentation. It's the 2024 work plan update from our city administrator, Denise Howell. Denise is going to give us kind of a mid-course, basically an update on a pretty ambitious plan that started at the beginning of the year.
Good evening. Can you pull up the PowerPoint, please? Thank you. Oh, back a couple, please. Thank you. Right there. Good evening. You've asked that I give a mid-year update on our 2024 work plan. So that is the purpose for tonight. You will go through each item a little bit, not in high level detail, not in great detail. As you know, we have a project manager for every one of those. So I get the high levels and I get brought in whenever they need support or there are issues, but they manage the day-to-day operations. So I'll answer questions as I can. I may not be able to answer all of them depending on as we move forward. Next slide. As you can see, we have many projects, and I do want to mention that these are projects on top of the day-to-day operations, such as water main breaks, cleaning, sweeping roads, whatever that may be, cleaning flower gardens, etc. So this is a pretty substantial and aggressive list for the number of staff that we have. Next slide. And next slide. So let's go through each of these a little bit and I'll give again high level detail. So the library remodel is going very well. We're anticipating to be finished on time, which is the end of October. I believe in this week's annual or weekly report, you saw that on June 25th, we will be opening it up for people to come in and look at the progress that's been made. There's only a limited number of people that can come in at each time slot, and there are age requirements due to safety. So we'll be opening that up, and hopefully by the end of this week, you'll be receiving the information about that. The police station remodel, I will say, was finished 2 weeks ahead of time and under budget. So those of you that have seen it, it's a great improvement. Hiawatha remodel, will be presenting that to council, I believe, next week and give you an update on that. Funding opportunities, which is constant. We're looking for grants. We're looking for loans, whatever that may be. I will say they take a lot of time. And for every grant and loan that we have, we also have to manage it. And that can take a great amount of time also. Hiawatha, right now, we are not doing any fundraising because we're waiting to receive direction from council on that one. The water meter change out, as you know, we put 2 grants in. We have moved to the next stage for the earmark funding, but that's where all I know at this point. The refurbish of the water tank will be moving till 2025, so I will not be asking for grants until that time. Citizens Academy, we had 16 people participate. It's been a huge success. We do have graduation next Monday, and we've sent an invite to all of you to attend. So if you could make it, that would be wonderful. The electric franchise agreement will be signed tonight if you choose to do so. This is a 20-year agreement, and as you know, this took about probably 9 to 11 months of negotiations, and believe we got to a really good place. The hire of the city clerk has been completed. Electronics recycling program, that will be done. We're waiting for Manitou Springs School District to give us an exact date. As you know, last year we held that. That is for our residents only. And we did a lot, we saved a lot of material going into landfill. This is part of our sustainability program. And so we will be announcing that date hopefully in the near future. ADA digital requirements, we do have the plan submitted to the state, and we're in the process of hiring an ADA coordinator to help with that. The safety and risk, let me move over real quick. Safety and risk committee is an internal committee, and they're looking at the safety, and they're really looking at the CIRSA risk control standards and seeing what changes we need to make. The HR electronic filing, I will tell you, and this is I think pretty amazing since we've hired the admin person. We have currently 350 files have been purged and digitized for all personnel files. That's a very large number. We still have a lot to do, but we're getting on track at least to get that moving. Health and Wellness Initiative is another program that's internal. This, we do get a little bit of money from CIRSA to do programs that's health and wellness. And we are starting a yoga and meditation program for our employees every Friday during lunch hour. The panic buttons have been installed. We just have a few more things to finish up, and we will have panic buttons in each department. And also they will be here now in city council meetings and planning commission meetings. Classification and compensation study, we are almost complete with that and we'll be bringing that to council within the next month. Records management and improvements, we've destroyed over 500 files. We have digital retention that we're working on, and we'll continue looking at all records. Hopefully before the end of the year, we will have a retention policy that we will bring to you for approval. 2023 audit, we will make the deadline again this year, which is great. I think this is 4 or 5 years in a row that we hit that deadline, and Becca and her team are working diligently to make that happen. So that is great. Quarterly financials for council. You did receive one on 4/29, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we meet those deadlines this year. The water loan, as you know, we have received it plus $1 million forgiveness, which is huge, a little over a $4 million loan and $1 million forgiveness. I will say, I think this took more time than any of us anticipated. It took over a year to get all the documentation that we needed, to do the planning documents and to present it. And then it took about 3 to 4 months for them to do the audit, to look at every minutes that we've ever had that talks about rate cases, and to verify that we are a good company to loan money to. So we did have it, and you will see that. The water and sewer rates, we plan to bring those on August 20th is the plan right now. 2025 budget, as you know, will be given at the October timeframe. The wildfire mitigation, I think you saw what just happened due to our mitigation. The fire that happened up by our reservoir did not become a huge fire, and it would have if we would have not done that mitigation. This is the chiefs kind of leads this, the fire department. They put together what needs to be mitigated, and then we start looking for grants and loans and partnerships accordingly. We did plan on having Rubicon here this year, and all of you got notified that they were not able to come due to a COVID outbreak, but we're hoping in the fall we can get them here. They will help with Williams Canyon and also with some local mitigation of property that the city owns. The fire code, we're hoping to bring it in the next couple of months, so we're working on that right now. The self-contained breathing apparatus, we purchased all of them, and they've started the training in the fire department. I do want to remind you that we did get a grant to help pay for those, so that's another big plus for our general fund. The remodel of the aquatic center, we are looking at the locker room right now. The pre-bid meeting happened on April 3rd, but we are needing to make an addendum to that. So we sent out a new addendum on May 20th and hope to be bringing something to you in the June or July timeframe for that. The aquatics long-term plan, or the remodel, we posted an RFP on April 3rd. The pre-bid meeting was on the 8th. The bids were due on the 30th, so they're doing the vetting of that, and we'll be hoping to bring that to you in the June or July timeframe also. Aquatic center roof repairs, we have done the evaluation and have received that. We're now looking for what an HVAC unit would be and what that would entail, and then we'll be putting an RFP out and then bringing that to you. Aquatic center long-term plan, we completed the survey, and we're working on the floodway and the floodplain right now, and then we'll be seeing what the next stage of that is and bring those recommendations to you also. Soda Springs Park completion, they met with the contractor, and let's see, they did the RFP posting at the end of May, and they hope to start the project in September. So hopefully that contract will come to you in the July or August timeframe. Higginbotham Flats Master Plan. The RFP was posted on May 15th. The pre-proposal meeting was on May 21st, and the proposals are due on June 26th. So again, we'll be bringing that to you very soon. The tree survey presentation has been completed, but we've been asked to do a canopy presentation. We're hoping to do that before in the September timeframe, but it really depends right now on the other work that we're needing to do, which is from the storm and cleaning up from that and other items that's higher priority right now. Trail work, we did a RFP for erosion control on Iron Mountain. We posted that, and the bids are due back on June 10th. We're also looking at the Wild Cat Gulch and those stairs. And we're meeting with Renfre at the end of May. They already did that to talk about additional work that they might be able to do. The pollinator resolution, it was presented to Parab last night, and they made some recommendations. So we'll see when that comes to council. Maintenance of the pollinator district, we received a pollinator garden layout design from the Butterfly Pavilion for the Prospect parking lot and Serpentine Roundabout. And so we'll see where we go with that and hope to get those installed in the near future. The columbarium is hoping to be installed in the August timeframe. And then the restoration of the Shriver Pond and the Fountain Creek, you know that we cleaned that, and we're working with Trout Unlimited regarding a floating fountain and hope to get that installed, hopefully within the next 2 months if everything goes well. Whoops. Oh, well, I have a different order. So Chase Bank, I'll just talk about that. We're working on that. We got the RFBs are due back on, or the bids are due back on June 13th, and then we'll be bringing that to council. The Dillon property, as you know, you have given direction that you want us to be able to park on that next summer. That's a very aggressive project, and to get that done is going to be pushed, but we're doing everything we can to get parking on there. Right now, we're hoping that this week that we can start the demolition. There's a lot of permitting that we have to do for that. And then we'll be working on the storm drainage report overall, and then we'll be putting out for design and public input. Electric trams, they started running today, as you saw, so we've got that moving forward. The e-bike program, a total of 99 applicants were used for the e-bike voucher program. We have 5, and then the proposal was to add 5 Pike Ride hubs with 20, which is a total of 27 racks. And we're working on that as we move forward. Employee parking program and strategy. This is an ongoing program. I don't think we'll ever be at completion for this, but we're working again with the Manitou Springs Community Church to see if we can use that parking for employee and also the Manitou Springs Elementary School. Bike rack strategy. We have an interactive map that is on our website that helps all people find the bike racks throughout the city. So we've been working, we've got that completed. The EV charging stations, we have 3 chargers to replace at the pool, and they are expected to arrive July 7th. Walkable City Project, the MAPS team continues to read that book and have discussions on that. The Complete Streets presentation was presented to you on 1/23/24. Street sign signage replacement, you approved that, and we're hoping to start the implementation in the next month. Plan Manitou, we're working on the public engagement that I believe there's an article in the paper this week that you will see that will talk about the public engagement and all the process that we'll be using for that. We'll be bringing that. We're hoping in August, we have a joint meeting with both you and the Planning Commission, and then that we get Plan Manitou approved by the end of this year, the first quarter of next year. The implementation of the new land code use, planning staff is working on that. They're making some recommendations and needing some new forms. This is another one that I don't think we ever really get to completion. We're always working on process improvements. Updating the Title 17 historical preservation. We are staff is continuing to work on that, and then we're hoping to get someone to help do that because we're not probably able to get that done this year. I will tell you, this is one of the projects that I don't see we're going to make a lot of progress on this year, just due to workload. It's probably going to move to the 2025 work plan, unless if we can free up some time in planning. Wildlife resistant trash containers. We have ordered 65 containers. So hopefully they will be in the July timeframe. We'll be implementing those and getting those out to the public. And I'm sorry, it will probably be more like the August, September timeframe before we get those in. I don't know. I don't think they are this time, but I can't remember what color, but I can let you know. So great. Stormwater code update. We have signed the contract and we will have that done before year end. Special district feasibility study. They are still working on that. And they're meeting, I believe we have a couple of council members that attend those meetings. Historical resource survey for the log cabin district. We're working on an RFP right now to have a consultant to be able to do that work, and we'll be bringing that to council. File digitization, and as you know, this was important. You approved the contract for planning. The good news is we have 2 rounds that they will take all the files out. They'll digitize them. They've taken half the files out, and we expect to have those completed by the end of July. This is a huge step forward for Manitou Springs. Establish a development review process. The staff has mapped out the current development review process and have identified gaps, so they'll be working on those. Reconcile zoning and parks and open space. This is another project that I do not believe will get done this year. There's a lot to look at, all the parks and open space items that we purchased over the years that have not been rezoned. So we're starting to work on it, but I don't think we'll have this completed. And then you have mentioned the Ruxton Avenue. This is a very complex project. What we're wanting to do is, we just met with CSU last week. We're looking at putting together a scope of work to do the design, and the design would be the underground only. That will take probably somewhere from 10 to 12 months. Well, we'll do the scope of work and then we'll put out for the design. 10 to 12 months or longer to get that design done. And then from there, we'll be able to move forward and look at the project of how we do it and what are the steps. So it's a very long project. We have the funding from CDOT until 2028, and then the funding has to be spent. So we do have some time, but not a lot of time to get this project moving. I believe, next slide. Serpentine Bridge, we've done a look at it. However, we need to really coordinate this with the Creek Walk Trail that's going to be built over there. So this bridge will probably wait till that Creek Walk Trail 6 is finalized, and then that will give us a better direction of what the bridge needs to look like, if we need to change it out or we just need to repair it. There's a lot of questions regarding with the Creek Walk Trail. We don't want to get ahead of that because that could change according to how the trail goes. Spring Street Bridge, we hope to close that out this year. It's a FEMA grant that we received years ago, and we're hoping to close that out. CDL training program, as you may or may not know, to get someone CDL approved, it costs between $5,000 to $6,000. So we have been innovative, and this is due to Roy and his team. We are going to be, we are getting training certified. We will be training our own staff on CDL, and then they'll go to Carvel Springs to be tested. This will save us a tremendous amount of money. Energy performance contracting, we hope to bring that to you, I believe, in the August timeframe. This is the one that you approved, and it includes the water meters. So we're working on that right now, and we'll be bringing that back. Street paving and pothole repairs. This year we have about $653,000 to do, the most that we've ever done, had for this, and we're identifying the streets, and then we'll be putting it out to bid and see how many streets we can get done, but we will get more done this year than ever before. Storm drain cleaning, we have completed 41 storm drains this year, and we'll continue to work on that. Sidewalk repairs, we looked at that last week, or this week in fact, and looking at what the code reads. So we will be bringing this into the 2025 work plan, and we'll probably be bringing a sidewalk ordinance, revised ordinance to council to review in 2025. Creek Cleanup Week, we did complete that on September 28th, or it is scheduled for September 28th to October 6th. So we'll continue to work on that. New water storage tank construction, we're on track to get it completed by the October timeframe. And we'll be bringing to you very quickly, hopefully, a new contract for the build of that. And we'll continue to move that forward. Water line on Mesa, we are getting ready to bring you a contract for that to start that project also. Ruxton Creek agreement, as you know, has been completed. Fryark agreement has been completed. And the backflow prevention ordinance is going to be moved to 2025. We do not have the bandwidth to do that this year. Copper and lead program is a federal program that is mandated with no funding. And we don't even really know all the details about this program, nor does the state. We are meeting with the state every month on this program. We are looking at, there are certain things that we have to have done by October 24th. So we're working with the state of what that entails. We need 20% of our city lines identified. So we'll use all of the city lines that we own to try to hit that 20%. And then we'll continue working through this. This is a program that is probably for the next 18 years. And again, we don't understand all the details because the federal government doesn't understand all the details, nor does the state at this time. Mineral Springs, we're moving forward with that. We've ordered a new cover for Cheyenne Springs, and we'll be installing that in the near future, along with getting all the springs updated to make sure we meet the water requirements. Water line on Midland, we got the loan for that. We'll be bringing that to you in the near future also as a contract. Hope to start that project in the September, October timeframe. Sewer line jetting, we've completed 30,497 feet to date. The goal is to complete a minimum of 4,000 per month, and we're ahead of that schedule. Fire hydrant flushing, we have flushed most of the hydrants. 3 hydrants have been replaced in 2024. Deer Path and Elk Path, Washington Avenue, and Crystal Park Place. Annual flushing is done every year, and we do that through our contractor. Then we talk about all the water, the recovery pump systems, and the other upgrades. As you know, that is through our loan that we received. We will be working on that and bidding all of what needs to be done with our water plant as one big bid because we think we'll get a better price. And that will be coming to you hopefully in the next 4 to 5 months, and we'll start the project at that point. With that, I'll open it up for questions. And again, I may not have the answers, but that shows you the projects that we are working on in our work plan, which is substantial with the staff that we have.
Questions or comments from council? Judith?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things. First of all, I noticed that you put the pollinator maintenance on there. I think you should give yourself credit. We are also a Tree City USA, and we have to maintain that. I believe it's every 2 years, and that's a 4-pronged thing. And along those lines, I've had so many residents that I've talked to about tree vouchers, and hardly anybody knows that we offer tree vouchers. So along those lines, I would really like some help in getting that news out. You mentioned the e-bike voucher program, and you said 99 applicants submitted, 99 vouchers were obtained. I did hear from 2 applicants that received a voucher but could not afford the balance of the bike that they wanted to buy, but have since gotten the money, but their voucher expired. And I wasn't sure if council would be amenable to those recipients. There's only 2 of them right now. If the council would be amenable to us allowing them to use their voucher. So that's something that we can talk about later. I had a question about the funding for Soda Springs Phase 2. Could you refresh me on where we are on that? Because I know Phase 1, the playground area is locked in, but it's my recollection that there was not funding, at least at at the point we were discussing it. So can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, I can't remember how much we have in the capital for that, but we don't have enough money to complete that. But we do for the phase one, which we will be doing, which is the playground. So we'll complete that one and then we'll move forward with the phase two and get a final approval. I don't believe, I'd have to go back and look at minutes. I'm not sure you've approved the final design for phase two yet. Have you? I can't remember. You have, okay. So we'll be working on funding. for
Yeah,
that.
I just recall when we were talking about it that we really lacked funding for the phase two part. There have been several people that have come before council concerned about speeding and traffic issues, and the topic of speed cameras has been brought up. And you did say that the city was working on that. What does that mean? And is a report coming to council? And if so, do you know about when that would be?
So we're investigating it right now. I don't know if you saw the news article that Carl Springs has it, but they have to hire someone for $80,000 a year to run it and sit in the van. So we're looking to see what other options there are and doing our due diligence before we bring it to council, but we're hoping to bring it. I don't want to give you a date yet because we're really needing to do some additional research.
And lastly, I just want to appreciate you putting the canopy tree study on for this fall before the leaves fall off. Thank you. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Julie,
Just a couple questions. Can you remind me, what is the Fry Arc agreement?
It's the agreement that we can use the Fry Arc money in case, or line and water in case we can't use our reservoir.
And the Ruxton Creek agreement?
It's to ensure that there's a certain amount of water that comes down that Ruxton Creek. You have approved both of those.
And is sewer line jetting prevention, is that like Roto-Rooter? What is jetting?
Yeah, you go in and you clean that line. And so it's a maintenance program. It's, as we do that, it helps with our SRSA claims. It also helps with our SRSA insurance that we can prove to them of what we clean every year and what's required to clean.
And then it's probably on here, but is the ADA, oh, there it is, ADA digital requirements. Yeah, it's on there. Okay. Thank you so much. That's a long list.
thank you. Natalie, did you have something or anyone else? Great. Well, I think we all got tired just listening to you. All the things are going on. This is good. There's a lot of, I guess one of the characteristics of Manitou is there's been a lot of deferred maintenance, to put it mildly. So I think it's really good that we're getting caught up on in so many areas, especially the infrastructure. So great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great. Council, we're at about 7:30. Would you like, shall we could take a 10-minute break and come back? Is that what's council's pleasure? Okay, let's take a break and come back at 20 of. If we can get started again, please. Okay, so we'll get going here. Our next item of business, H1, consider appointing Peter Summers to the Manitou Arts, Heritage and Culture Board as a regular member. Yes, Ralph, you're gonna present here? Oh, good, okay.
Come on up. Ralph Roughton again, 114 Palisade Circle, Chair of the Match Board. You would have in your packet the application materials and also the letter from myself supporting the recommending that you appoint Peter to the Match Board. I just wanted to say a couple of real quick things is that obviously the Match Board is different and that it's the scope of work is pretty broad and requires different levels of expertise and experience that we feel like it's really a hard thing to get the right people to fit as board members. We're looking for people who can help us as, you know, on the technology side, and obviously we've made some great strides in that way. But we're also we've looked for a number of people who are in that age range, let's say from mid-20s to mid-40s, instead of everybody being close to or over, like myself, retirement age. But we also are looking for people who are being connected to the community. And that's what struck me about Peter when the more I've gotten to know in becoming acquainted with him and his interest for joining the Match Board. The fact that he's been involved already with programs at the Manitou Arts Center. He's been involved with things related to the library district. Has taught a woodworking class at the MAC. And that's just as important to us as having that kind of a background to bring into our discussions when it comes time to evaluate match applications. Another thing is that of being involved in the community, going to events and being aware of events that are happening in the community. And even though Peter has not lived a full year in Manitou Springs, but he and his wife are fully engaged and have been going to events. And, you know, when a discussion about certain events would come up, he will come to us with that knowledge. So for all of those reasons, I really am happy to and excited to present Peter Summers to you for your consideration for membership on the Match Board.
Okay, great.
And any questions you might want to have for Peter.
Okay, great. Thank you. And of course, council did have quite a bit of information in the packet, but I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak if there's anything you'd like to say.
Sure. My name is Peter Summers. I moved here at the very beginning of October. I have fallen in love, and as many of us have, with Manitou Springs, despite my short time living here so far. Do I need to say my address? I forgot. Okay.
It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
724 Duclos Avenue, apartment A.
Yeah.
Peter Summers. And I have been looking for a place to move from since moving here. And Manitou Springs has really fit that bill through the various times that we've vacationed here in the past and to Colorado Springs in general. But Manitou has really grabbed my heart. I am really interested in putting down roots here. it's not just a matter of moving away from my family kind of thing, but starting a family here kind of thing and developing and growing my roots in Manitou. I'm really interested in, and this match board would be a great way for me to use my arts and culture background to benefit the city of Manitou moving forward, and also just to get a better involvement with the town itself.
Great, thank you.
I would also like to add really quickly, just one more point, that he has been involved with this class of the Citizens Academy as well.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Very good. So, council, do you have questions for Peter or comments? If not, I would look for a motion to approve Peter Summers as
I move
appoint him as a
approval.
regular member. Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Thank you for stepping up, Peter.
Thank you, council.
Cheers. Great, super. Okay, next item, first reading of ordinance number 0524, an ordinance of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving 2 loans from the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority, authorizing the forms and execution of loan agreements and governmental agency bonds to evidence such loans, authorizing the construction of projects, prescribing other details in connection therewith. And we have Becca Davis, our finance officer, to walk us through this one.
Yes.
Becca?
Rebecca Davis, Finance Director of the City of Manitou Springs. So tonight, as per our charter, I'm bringing forth the 2 separate loans that we are receiving from the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority. It has to be approved by ordinance due to the charter, and so we're starting the process tonight. The drinking water loan, we're really excited about because it's going to bring upgrades to our 40-year-old water treatment plant that are desperately needed and super expensive. So that's an excellent use of this money. And then we're also doing some rehabilitation of the Mesa storage tank and the backwash recovery pond. And we added in replacing the Upper Midland water utility line with this loan. Originally, it was going to be a separate loan. And then we found out we could only get loan forgiveness for one project only. So we combined it to see if we could get as much loan forgiveness as we could. And the ask was for $4,053,000. And we've been awarded $1 million in loan forgiveness. So we're only going to have to pay back $3,053,000, and that's over 20 years. But $1 million loan forgiveness is wonderful. Now, the other loan that we've been awarded is for the other half of the Midland project, because we like to replace the water and the sewer lines at the same time when we do some kind of project like this. So we're not messing up the road twice. So this way we can just get them both done at once and then repave the road and not be digging it up again anytime soon. So, and then the Midland project for the sewer is just $450,000. Once again, 20-year loan, 3.25% interest, which is pretty good. So, and now I'm just waiting to see if you have any questions.
Any questions from council? Julie?
So I'm just a little confused by something, Becca.
Yes.
So the ordinance itself, 1524. When I scroll down and I get to the one whereas, let me find it here. After all the whereases, now therefore, section 2. Whoops. Sorry, I lied. Section 4, delegation. It says that the mayor or Denise, the city administrator, can decide how much the interest rate will be and how much we're borrowing and the interest rate on the loan, the principal amount of the loan. Do you see that section under 4A sub little 1 and sub 2?
Yeah,
See
I
where
have
I'm
to
at?
admit that the bond council wrote this ordinance. Jeff said that I offered to try to make a stab at it by using our last ordinance.
Yeah,
And
well, I didn't assume you wrote it because it is
Good.
pretty legalistic, but it just says the city hereby delegates to the mayor or the city administrator the independent authority to make the following determinations relating to the loan agreements, including subparagraph 1, the interest rate, subparagraph 2, the principal amount of the loan. I guess I'm assuming that means that you have authority to sign the loan documents, which are already here, but you don't have really authority to sign any different loan documents that have a different amount of that you're borrowing. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. And
I didn't like
I would
that.
interpret it as we can say what we'd like, but it's based on this, what we're offered by the state, and it's 3.25. So what we've decided is 3.25. And then the principal amount is what we've applied for, and they did go ahead and approve that. So, and that was through a combination of staff and GMS. That was the engineering firm we used to help guide us through this process of
Is this
several
first
months.
reading?
This is first reading.
Oh, so it doesn't matter. I'll just ask Jeff next time.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think we have the question. We also have to go to our council who did this and ask them because they set this per state guidelines. So we'll
Right.
send that to them and we'll see what that entails.
So just ask him, what exactly does this section mean?
Well, I think I know what it means. I just don't like it. I mean, I read what it means. It says that Denise has the right to change the amount we're borrowing as well as the interest rate without conferring with us further. That's the sentence that creeps me out. It seems inconsistent with all the rest of it, which is very specific.
But right below it, it says follow the parameters and restrictions, and it gives the exact parameters and restrictions that can be done. So it might be just, but we'll check with them and see.
Where does it say follow the parameters and restrictions?
And restrictions.
Oh, you're right, Denise. You're very good.
Do I
You're
have that
right.
recorded?
You're very good. I didn't read section B. I was so upset about section A. Okay, you're right. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm taking off the table.
Then I
Sorry
won't,
about.
I won't bring this up with the bond.
That's okay. I was a little disoriented by that paragraph A, and then I saw B and I said, okay, I guess it's clear enough. It seemed a little awkward, but it seemed to be okay to me. Anyway, sorry. Do you have anything else, Julie? Or, okay. Judith.
Yeah, I actually had that same question. And then down farther in section 11, I think it's on page 5, city representative, it does say the mayor and the city administrator. So it says or in section 4 and, which I think is, not insignificant, but that both are designated as authorized officers as defined in the loan agreement. So I'm okay with that. I did have on I think it was whereas number 13 on page 2. Something bugged me on that page. Let's see, hang on. There's a word that needs to be changed. I think you have each, it needs to be both. Hang on, I gotta find it. Now I gotta count my whereases here. Hang on. The whereas that starts with in 2023, comma, each the water system and the sewer system. I think what you want to say is both the water system and the sewer system as operated, they will both receive grants. Is that how I'm interpreting this? Because they've both received grants from all Colorado state and local governments.
I can ask Kim, our
anyway,
bond counsel
and-
about this.
And then I would, so anyway, that should read both the water system and sewer system. And then this next whereas underneath that, there have been presented to council in the form of a loan agreements. I think what you really want to say is the form of the loan agreements and the bonds collectively, the financing documents have been presented to council. Because otherwise that sentence doesn't make any sense. I think that's what the intent is there, is to start with the form of the loan agreements and the bonds collectively, the financing documents have been presented to the council.
Okay, I'll,
And other than that, that's all I had, just housekeeping. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judith, I think you're, whereas in 2023, it says each the water system and the sewer system. So it includes both of them.
ah,
That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, Julie?
I think section 11 is actually okay because it just says that the city administrator and the mayor are considered authorized officers. And then up above, the part that was disturbing me says that either of them as officers can sign either of them. So I don't think 11 means that they have to sign, both people have to sign, but they're just both authorized to sign their name. It's kind of redundant, but I think that paragraph is okay,
As long as it says we don't have to personally pay the loan off, that would be useful.
except for the mayor. The mayor has to co-sign personally
guarantee.
I wouldn't vote for that.
in his individual capacity.
Do we have other comments? Are we good?
I'm good,
If,
thank
if
you.
not, I'd look for a motion to pass this on first reading, and we would get back to it in 2 weeks for second
So
reading.
moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'd second it as amended with the corrections.
Can I make a recommendation that we don't second as amended and we take those corrections and ask our bond counsel to make sure that they agree with those statements and if there's a reason. So if that would be okay. And then second reading,
Yes.
we can do that.
Would be fine. Does that have to be articulated in the motion though? Or not?
I think Julie made the motion, so I think the second just has to accept the original motion as presented.
I'll go with second and agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, okay, we have motion second. Any further discussion?
The motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, that's a good step forward for Manitou. I think we're, it's a good sound improvement for our infrastructure, and it was a great piece of work. Getting $1 million in forgiveness is very welcome. I'm sure the taxpayers appreciate it. Great. Thanks, Becca.
Thank you.
Okay, and now our hearing for the evening. Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 0424, an ordinance of the city of Manitou Springs, Colorado, approving a franchise agreement with Colorado Springs Utilities, granting the right to provide, sell, and deliver natural gas and electricity to the city and its residents. Denise, do you have comments?
Yeah, I don't really have any comments, except you looked at this at the first reading. We've done all the necessary postings, as you saw in the paper. So we're just asking for approval on this second reading if council so chooses.
Great, thank you. Any comments from council? If not, I'd look for a motion. Oh, excuse me, yes, we have public hearing, so it's hell to get old. Okay, the public hearing is hereby open. Time for any public comment. Anyone would like to speak to this matter may? Did we get anything, emails or communications? No. I would recognize Mr. Bill Block. He's our representative to Manitou from Colorado Springs Utilities. It's good to have you here, Bill. There being no one to comment, the public hearing is closed, public comment portion. And I would look for any additional comments from council or a motion.
I'll move to approve 1424. Oh, sorry. I move to approve Council Bill number 1424. Ordinance number 02424.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Let's vote then.
The motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. The agreement is approved. Bill, Denise, good job for you and your staff. Please extend our appreciation to everyone who is involved in this. This is a great thing for Manitou. We've got a 20-year agreement. We have a commitment to bury the utilities during that 20 years. So but we have 2 years to make a plan and we have 20 years to bury the utilities. It will take some money and some resolve from our part, but certainly it's the closest I think we've been so far to come up with a systematic solution for our overhead utilities. Right. Thank you very much, Bill and Denise. Okay, so next item, receiver act on council correspondence. Council, you noticed that I sent out an email this morning shortly after I got it. We've been approached by representatives from Maggie's Farm and Emerald Fields to discuss the tax level and some of their concerns about a likely upcoming election in Colorado Springs. I kind of wanted to get council's feeling on that. We would have the opportunity 2 weeks from tonight, June 18th, Jeff Parker will be here. We could have an executive session to discuss the matter amongst ourselves. And then if we wanted to meet with the representatives of 2 marijuana businesses, we could discuss that on July 9th. For that matter, I guess we could discuss it with the representatives from the marijuana business on June 18th. That wouldn't be my druthers, but I don't know if y'all had a chance to see that or, so I'd like to open this up to a little discussion. Julie?
I'm sorry, I haven't seen the email, but I really like your idea about starting off with the executive session. And then we can decide in executive session, one of the things we can decide if we do want to go forward with the meeting with them, if we want them to come before all of us, or if we want them to meet with Denise, or how we want to handle that, what would be least chaotic and most logical. So perhaps, and I don't know if that's something we're allowed to discuss in executive session, what would be the best format, but assuming that's appropriate, I think that would be the right time rather than making a commitment today as to when we're going to invite them to sit before all of us, which may or may not be the best approach.
And I will mention their expectation is that it would be July the 9th at the earliest.
Okay, well, I won't be here that day, so that's another reason I don't like it, but I don't think they necessarily should talk to all of us. I don't want to talk to them as a group. I don't think that's the wisest approach. I'll just say it right now.
Okay, thank you. Other comments? Nancy?
Yeah, I am and have been for a while interested in relooking our tax of retail marijuana in the city. And I would like to include Neil in that discussion as well. Neil Minch.
Okay, he could be invited.
Right.
Do you have, would your preference just have a discussion amongst us plus Neil on the 18th of June?
I think, yeah, I'm less concerned with the date. And I suspect it can be done in executive session. Yeah, I think just to, yeah. So.
Okay. Other comments, Judith?
Well, I know you received the email I sent you earlier today.
Yes,
and
thank you.
I also agree with beginning with an executive session on June 18th. I realize that Becca is under a tremendous time crunch with other things, so I don't expect her to have any financials, but I'm not sure that that's really necessary. And I also I'm not thinking that Neil necessarily has to be at this meeting either. Just my thoughts. And I concur with Counselor Wolf that it's way too premature to be talking to the representatives from the recreational marijuana establishments. But I support the June 18th executive session.
Okay. Looks like I'm getting nods around the table. So I think council sympathy is to June 18th executive session amongst ourselves. Maybe Neil would be here. We'll see if he's available. And then we'd be looking at July 9th to meet with the representatives of the two marijuana businesses. And I'm sorry, what, Julie?
So you've already made that determination unilaterally?
No,
Oh,
no.
July 9th, you just said July 9th, we're going to meet with the representatives.
Well, that would be the plan. Is that, I'm asking.
I
you all-
thought that was something we could discuss, whether that
Wait,
makes
okay,
sense, because as I
I'm sorry,
said,
no, we could discuss it on the 18th. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah. So, but if we were to meet with them, it wouldn't be before the
Oh.
9th of July.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
for
so
clarifying
I'm
that.
sorry, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I misunderstood.
they would prefer to be here tonight if they could. They're hot to trot, but they should have thought about this sooner, earlier. So anyway, but it's our card game, so we can say when. Okay, so that's the direction we'll take on that. Let's see. When I came in, I was talking to Ralph Rutan, and he mentioned this thing about a survey, and about 4:30 I got it at home too, and I looked at the first page and deleted the whole thing. So I didn't know what it was about. Having sat through this, I know who's responsible for the survey. This was not something that was anything the city had anything to do with. It was David and Chris Jenkins, Norwood Development. Well, I'm pretty sure that would be my take, and that was unanticipated. Sorry, Natalie.
I'm just wondering if Mitch could put something together so that we have a press release that goes out explaining to the community.
Yeah, I think if, as
that
long
this
as we
was
say
not
that it
something
wasn't,
that-
it's not officially from the city.
Is that
And I would,
I think that's a good idea.
I would encourage citizens to just disregard it. Yes, yeah, please go ahead.
I also received the survey via text. And I looked at it and said, "Oh, this is spam." And I immediately deleted it. And shortly after I deleted it, I started receiving phone calls. They weren't phone calls, they were distress calls. And I said, well, I just deleted it, but forward your survey to me. And I looked at the survey in its entirety. And first of all, obviously, it was utilizing cell phone data. It was a professional survey. This cost somebody some money. The questions began as political. They ended up being very personal, and in the middle discussed what to me was intimate firsthand knowledge of issues that we have discussed in executive session. And I trust this council. I trust this council that we have not said anything. So what is alarming people is that some of the language includes, would you support a ballot initiative for a donation of 15 acres of land to include a road and a parking lot? This survey puts a certain amount of information right out there. And it is an incredibly manipulative survey geared to garner a certain response. It was very fear-based, and I was appalled. And I certainly understand how we got a full house tonight. I'm surprised there weren't more people. And so I think it's incumbent upon us to know for sure who sent it. And, this is city business. This is city business that we've been called upon to act on in an executive session and not say a word because it's executive session information. And now it's out there in a survey. And so that is highly disturbing to me. And I think just putting out a public statement, we had nothing to do with it, is not sufficient. How we handle this, I think it's going to take all of our brains to put it together, but highly, highly disturbing to me. Thank you.
Nancy?
Yeah, I think that this has been and we shouldn't really be discussing it, but the process led us down here in a big, big way. And we have lost so much trust with the community through very little fault of our own. And there was nothing we could really do to explain to them. And I don't know how we're going to rebuild that trust. And it really, really concerns me. And I agree. I don't blame the people at all, because I also looked at the first page and didn't go further than that. And I was horrified when I heard what the questions ended up being. And I can see why they're just so fearful and distrustful now. And I think we need to have a longer discussion on how we're going to rebuild trust and rectify this debacle.
Okay, thank you. Other comments, Julie?
Are we on a new subject yet?
Well,
Or-
is there anything on the old subject? Anything more? Okay, let's go on to a new subject.
I just wanted to say that the landscape area between Wichita parking lot and what was the Stagecoach restaurant, I don't remember what it's called now, or something. That garden area looks like it hasn't been cleaned up since last summer. It looks terrible. And it's right at the edge of town as people are coming into town. So I just wanted to see if we could get that cleaned up. Well, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anything else? Nancy?
Yeah, you already met this morning and a couple things came out of that to report out on. One is that Marcy Morrison has resigned from the board after, I think, 20 years on the board. And their recommendation is that they not have a other person assigned to the position, because now they're left with 7 members, and it's much better on any voting body to have an odd number. So they would prefer not to have another person appointed at this point in time. They're also relooking their website, updating it, and they'll be probably trying to work with Mitch somewhat, because they also just recently learned about all the ADA requirements on accessibility to websites, and it's a bit overwhelming. So that was interesting. And Jillian Rossi came and presented a funding request for pollinator study. And I think in general, they look supportive of that pollinator study. However, before committing any dollars to it, they'd like to know who all the stakeholders are, who else will be committing money, who all will have access to all the data, et cetera, et cetera. So they just needed some more flesh out of the proposal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Judith, did you have something?
Yes, I was just asking for council's direction on the e-bike voucher situation that I brought up earlier. There's one and possibly 2 individuals who got a voucher, and they are time limited, and they were timed out and could not afford the balance, but now looks like they have come into some money and want to proceed with buying a bike, but their vouchers expired. So typically the vouchers have been good for 60 days. And I was just wanting council's direction on whether we can contact those individuals and allow them a 60-day extension.
I guess that's a question for Denise. Do we still have money in the voucher program?
Yeah, we do. It's the money that had been anticipated. They just didn't spend it in the 60 days. So
Okay.
I know council gave us a certain time frame to do that. So and you can't vote on it because we're in this. I guess I would just ask for direction if we can do it.
Yeah. And how many vouchers do we have left? Do you know, roughly?
5. But these were already taken. These were already part of the budget. So they were already included.
Okay, they just timed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about these two individuals, somebody in their household already got one, is that?
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, these are individuals who applied and received a voucher. They qualified. And then there was a time limit for them to buy a bike, and the vouchers don't cover the whole amount of the bike. So at the time they received their voucher, they were not able to purchase a bike. And there's several bike stores that often have some of their rentals on sale, and they'll rotate in and out, and they go really quickly. So I think these individuals were kind of counting on finding something in their price range, and it just didn't happen. So now they have the voucher, but it's expired, and now they're feeling that they can use the voucher. So,
Well, let's get a sense of council as well. Denise, you got a comment?
Mayor, I wonder if council would just be willing to say, staff, please manage this, because there may be a couple of others that come in, and we've already counted the money, and just let us manage it instead of coming back to council every time there's a exception. If council is so, if you would desire for us to do that.
I see heads nodding. Is anybody opposed to that? Okay, staff will manage accordingly. Okay, great, thank you.
Could I just say?
Yeah,
I
Nancy?
just wanted to say that this is very critical to after action report for the whole voucher program. Because whenever we change the rules, it ends up potentially being unfair to other people. So just as we look at the program and really start, if we do it again, we're locking it down. We need to incorporate these hiccups, I guess. Thanks.
Good point, thank you. Anything else for council correspondence? Okay. Denise, do you have anything for the city administrator's report?
Yeah, I have several. As you know, we did get a call about the survey. I had not received it, and none of the staff had received it, so we didn't know what it included, but of course we did not send it out. So we will be putting something out tomorrow stating definitely that this was not a city-sponsored survey, and we were not aware of it. So we will be doing that. The library open house, I mentioned that to you. We'll be getting some information. I hope all of you can walk through and attend accordingly. So we'll be getting that out. The Citizens Academy, we sent an email out to you today to invite you to Monday's celebration. If you can make it and just celebrate with the 16 people who have finished it, that would be great. That's 6 o'clock here. And then Memorial Park, as you have seen, and I know many of you have received concerns about how brown it is. There's a leak underneath El Paso Boulevard. And so tomorrow we're tearing up that street. You may have seen the press release. We're trying to fix that, the sprinkler system so we can get it going again as quickly as possible. So we're trying to manage that. It does take Parks and the Water Department both, because we need to turn off water, turn on water, 7-minute, or the spa, we have to make sure that we're keeping their water going. So we're managing that tomorrow and trying to get this fixed as quickly as possible so we can get the grass back. We're also working with the Clean Air Program, who does all of our maintenance and fertilization, not maintenance, but the fertilization, to see how quickly we can make this come back.
Great, thank you. Well, I think that covers everything. So I'd look for a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Okay, we seconded Julie. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. We're done.